Show you some of the spectacular quilts that are on display here and that will be sold, and tell you about who benefits from this event. In other news, we'll have a report on Memorial Day camping and travel prospects, a new report on farmland values, and Tim Swore will tell you about an Iowa hurdler who trains in the swimming pool. That and more on the Channel 2 News at 6.
I'm Maggie Jensen.
I'm Dave Shea. Those stories and all the news that matters to Eastern Iowa as we celebrate Iowa and the Channel 2 News at 6. Good evening and welcome to the Iowa Mennonite Relief Sale, where tonight we're celebrating Iowa from the sale, which is being held at the Johnson County Fairgrounds.
Right now, food is being served. At 7, there will be some gospel entertainment, and an auction begins at 8.
The fairgrounds are located just south of the Iowa City Airport on Old Highway 218.
We'll tell you more about the auction later in the newscast, but first the news of the day.
And the news centers on the first big holiday of the summer season. The Memorial Day weekend is about to begin, and as Mike Tank reports, that means crowds in the campgrounds and on the highways.
Bumper-to-bumper traffic will be common on many of Iowa's highways throughout Memorial Day weekend. Law enforcement authorities plan to increase their patrols in an effort to make the roads safer, and they want everyone to be extra careful on the crowded highways.
Just mainly wear your seatbelt and drive for the other guy.
Gas prices are the highest they've been in 4 years. But even though the people I talked to are unhappy about the level, they said it wasn't going to stop them from filling up and heading out to their favorite destination.
This group of 8 guys from 4 different states are on their way to the Indianapolis 500. They've been making the trip for the past 16 years, and the high gas prices this year is costing them extra money.
It seemed like everything was up. The gas, the food, and everything is a little bit higher, but you just pay a little bit more and you do it.
For many, Memorial Day weekend means a trip to a campground. A lot of campers find their favorite spots early so they can enjoy their annual holiday in the great outdoors.
Someplace you don't have to drive and drink, just kind of kick back and relax.
For others, the 3-day weekend means a time to rest and get away from a hectic life and wait for crowds of other people to get the same idea.
It'll change by about noon. No, it's like 5 afternoon. Everybody rolls in. Yeah. 5 afternoon.
Memorial Day weekend goes by rapidly for many people, but most don't seem to care because the holiday weekend means that summer fun has unofficially started. Mike Tank, Channel 2 News, Coralville.
Park rangers say that if you don't have a campsite by tonight, you may have difficulty finding one this weekend.
Farmland values in the upper Midwest continue to climb, but they have not reached previous peak levels. The Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago says farmland values in the region, which includes Iowa, rose 3% in the first quarter of the year. That's the 8th consecutive quarterly rise. Farmland is now up 24% from its 1986 low and is comparable in price to what it was in 1977. The chairman of the National Republican Committee says Iowa will be a key battleground in the 1990 U.S. Senate election. Lee Atwater says the GOP wants to regain control of the Senate next year, and he says the party must dominate the Midwest to do that. He says the Iowa race between Democrat incumbent Tom Harkin and Republican Congressman Tom Talkey will be important for the Republicans. Atwater made the comments at a Republican fundraiser in Des Moines.
Almost 500 Cedar Rapids residents lost electric power today when a tree fell through some power lines on the city's southeast side. Electricity was cut off between 27th and 34th Streets near Forest Drive. Power was out for about an hour around noon. Iowa Electric says it does not know what caused the tree to fall. A teacher at Linmar Junior High and Novak Elementary School has been named the Iowa recipient of the Krista McAuliffe Fellowship. Dick Bremmersch will receive almost $30,000 to develop a music curriculum using computer technology. The Department of Education administers the award in the honor of the teacher who was killed in the Space Shuttle Challenger explosion in 1986.
As we think about our professional futures, we hope for the best and daydream about great jobs that pay well. Tonight's life planning quiz will help you determine your future career prospects. The job plan is sponsored by J.M. Jones Ford Chrysler in Manchester. What does the future hold for any of us? Success. Failure. Good times. Bad. In tonight's final life planning test, we evaluate your career prospects for the future. Answer true or false to these life planning questions. During During the past year, a company other than my own has asked me about working for them. Throughout my life, I have demonstrated and held positions of leadership. I have carefully thought through my career goals. My supervisor is likely to get promoted. I am good at my work. If you want to learn more about your professional self and how to climb the career ladder, pick up one of these job plan brochures at Jack and Jill and Sunmark food stores, J.M. Jones Ford Chrysler in Manchester, and at Broadcast Park. Not everyone is cut out for the corporate life, and tonight at 10 I'll talk to a man who went into business for himself.
Look forward to that. Prairie Meadows opens its second season. That story when we come back.
And we'll introduce you to some of the people who make this Mennonite relief sale successful.
News in your neighborhood. Call the Channel 2 News Line, 393-2222.
This annual Mennonite Relief Sale features plenty of good foods and interesting crafts.
Angela Kennecke reports the food often is the craft.
There's one tradition that can't be overlooked on this day, the making of apple butter. But dieters beware. 15 pounds of applesauce and 80 pounds of sugar go into the recipe.
It's about pennies.
Martha Troyer is the local expert on apple butter.
You like making apple butter?
Each year is more fun than the year before.
Martha Troyer's had plenty of years' experience to perfect her apple butter recipe, and this alone makes it well worth the trip to the Mennonite Relief Sale.
What's the secret to making it taste so good?
Well, first God created the apples.
This cook isn't giving anything away, but she does say over 300 pennies are put into the pot to keep the mixture from scorching.
If you like frosting, here's where it comes.
Betsy Schlatter also works some magic with sugar. She says the first cake she decorated was her wedding cake 50 years ago.
I just enjoy it, and especially for the grandkids.
Dorothy Schumen doesn't design cakes, but quilts. She makes about 20 a year from traditional patterns to original designs.
While you're finishing up one, you're thinking of the next one. You can't wait.
The quilts are hot items at the sale. They go for between $300 and $1,000 a piece.
Quilts are a heritage for our area, and I think everybody at this point is wanting a quilt.
So whether you pick up a jar of apple butter, one of Schlater's frosted cakes, or a handmade quilt, you won't go home without a taste of Mennonite tradition. Angela Kennecke, Channel 2 News, Johnson County.
Now to learn more about what is out here and what this is all for, we go to Dave Shea.
With me now is Mark Swartzendruber, who's who's in charge of advertising for the Mennonite Relief Sale. Mark, thank you for joining us here. Tell us what is the Mennonite Relief Sale? What's going on here?
The Mennonite Relief Sale is made up of a lot of members of the Mennonite Church here who are putting together all kinds of shops and things that we're selling here. So the proceeds of this will be used for people in other countries as well as in the United States.
Is this partly a hunger campaign to relieve hunger?
It is partly that, to relieve hunger. It's also to send workers over these countries and to help them to teach people there to take care of themselves, like raising rabbits and raising crops on their own, teaching them that.
Now, what are some of the countries?
Well, we go into Africa countries. We're in India. We're in about every country you can that we can get into there.
Now, what are some of the things that people find interesting here?
Well, I think they're going to find the food thing is pretty interesting, the barbecued chicken and the fish. They're going to find the quilts, especially. We have a terrific selection of quilts this year. We have over 140. And all the food shops that we have and all the self-help items from other countries that people bring those things in and we sell them for those people.
Okay. Mark, thank you very much for joining us tonight and good luck at the sale.
Thank you for coming down.
Back to you, Maggie.
A former vice president ends speculation about his political future. That story tops our regional news tonight. Walter Mondale announced this morning he will not run for the U.S. Senate seat from Minnesota in 1990. For months, there's been speculation Mondale would challenge Republican Rudy Boschwitz. But today, the former vice president says he's enjoyed private life too much to want to enter politics again. Iowa's pari-mutuel horse track got off to a shaky start this spring. The first season of thoroughbred racing at Prairie Meadows ended with the track losing $600,000. It drew an average of 3,600 customers daily, and they wagered an average of $300,000 a day. Both were lower than expected. Today, the track opened for its summer session of harness racing. And now we go to Roger Evans, who we hope will have an explanation for all this wind. Roger?
An explanation for all the wind? Well, the wind's kind of nice. In fact, right behind me, there's some people making some very wonderful food, and I can smell that because of the nice strong winds this afternoon. We do have some very nice conditions this evening. In fact, right now here at the Iowa Mennonite Relief Sale, it is 65 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Our relative humidity this hour is 37%. The winds, though, are very gusty, as Maggie just mentioned, out of the northwest at 17 all the way up to 26 miles per hour. And our dew point rather dry this evening at 38. The barometer is currently rising. Here's what happened earlier this morning. We did have some clear skies last night. Temperatures holding in the lower 50s for the most part across most of eastern Iowa. It was a rather nice day here in eastern Iowa today. Just a few puffy cumulus clouds across the state. Taking a look at the satellite view from Burlington, Iowa late this afternoon, it does show clouds spreading across most of eastern Iowa. Just partly cloudy skies for the most part. A few more up in southern Minnesota. Those will be moving down over the next couple of hours, but we should see some clearing later on tonight. Now the national weather scene does show an area of low pressure still off to our east, still producing some very heavy thunderstorms across portions of Kentucky, also into the eastern states late this afternoon. But you know, high pressure just off to our west is going to bring us a very nice night here in eastern Iowa tonight. The winds will diminish later on, and by tomorrow that high will move to the east. We should see some warming temperatures as well as a return to some more moisture. Taking a look at the low temperatures for tonight, temperatures mostly in the 40s, so it will be rather cool. But some good news, the winds will be diminishing. We'll take a complete look at our forecast coming up in just a couple minutes here, and we'll be back in a second. Food right behind me.
Hey, have you seen where they're cooking the fish, Roger?
Cooking the fish? I think it's over that way.
Because I'm supposed to cook some fish.
Okay.
Later.
All right. Well, we've got some good news in the forecast for the next few days, but we do have a chance of some rain moving in toward Memorial Day. We'll tell you about that in a second. Here's the forecast for the rest of tonight. It does look for clear to partly cloudy skies and cool conditions, a low of 43 to 48. Winds will be diminishing later on to the west-northwest at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then for tomorrow, look for a nice day, sunny and pleasant, high of 75 to 79. Southeasterly winds late in the afternoon at about 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, a gorgeous night, clear and mild. Summer-like breeze likely, southeast at about 5 to 10. Look for a low of 55 to 60 degrees. Now for Sunday, scattered showers and storms could move in toward the noon hour, high of 80 to 85. And for the extended outlook right through Memorial Day weekend, there's a pretty good chance right now of some scattered showers and storms on Monday, a high of 88. Looking for cooler temperatures as we head into Wednesday with more sunshine. Temperatures cooling off to about 70 degrees by Wednesday. That's a look at the weather for now.
Roger, that forecast has everything in it that we need.
Everything but rain for Memorial Day. So.
Yeah, that's true. Thanks anyway, Roger.
Okay.
In tonight's business news, a key business indicator is pointing in different directions in 3 eastern Iowa larger cities. FW Dodge reports that the value of building contracts in Cedar Rapids in the first 4 months of this year is 59% higher than last year. The Waterloo-Cedar Falls area showed an increase of only 4%. In Dubuque, the value of construction is down 18%.
The nation's trade deficit improved dramatically in the first quarter. The Commerce Department says the deficit totaled $27.6 billion. That's 14% less than the previous quarter and is the smallest quarterly balance in 4 years.
Most Iowa stocks closed higher this past week, according to Mid-America Securities. Hey, out here at the Johnson County.
Lovely.
Doesn't really seem like basketball, but I think Tim Swartz got some news about basketball and sports tonight, yeah?
Well, Dave and Maggie, I'm over here, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to do my best to concentrate, okay? We've got so much good food. We got marinated turkey breast. We got pork burgers, strawberry pie, but we'll get to that later, and we will talk sports, and we'll talk baseball first. The top 2 teams in the National League got together at Wrigley Field this afternoon. Chicago from the east taking on the Cincinnati Reds, the top team in the west. Okay, thank you, Brett. The state golf meet's going on just down the road at Finkbine. They're just finishing up. We'll have scores for you tonight at 10, and we'll have NBA highlights as the Phoenix Suns host L.A. They try to get a win in that series. The Lakers lead it 2-0. Now for the tough job, but somebody's got to do it. They want me to taste all this food here and tell them what's better, so I'll get started with that, and back to you, Dave and Maggie.
Ah, yeah.
What a trooper, huh?
Yeah, he's tough work. We'll do it.
Coming up, the Iowa Traveler takes you behind the scenes here at the Mennonite Relief Sale.
Highlight of the Mennonite Relief Sale is the food.
And that is also true for Iowa Traveler Kerry J. Hahn, and he is right where the food's being prepared. Kerry, these wonderful aromas are almost more than a person can stand.
Right, does this look like fish? All right, there we go, Paul. You can bring that out there. I'm kind of standing out of the way here so I don't get the hot grease on me. Paul's been out here since about 3:30 cooking this afternoon, and this is the fish vat, and he's going to put in some more here. He's been cooking about 650 fish, I'm told, this afternoon. And this, Paul, looks like a dirty job.
It is. Very dirty.
Well, how did they draft you in to do this?
Somehow I volunteered.
I see. Do you do this all the time?
I do this as a hobby, yes.
How many years have you been doing this?
About 4.
About 4, okay. Does it get any easier, or it's kind of hard work?
Oh, it's hard work.
You got a lot of help, though, right?
You betcha. We draft a lot of people.
Now, what kind of fish is this?
This is catfish.
Okay.
It's pond raised, and we get it. It comes from the southern states somewhere. We're not sure exactly.
And they keep telling me it's corn-fed.
Well, I think it is.
Now, you clean all of this tonight, right?
Right.
And then what do you do tomorrow morning?
Well, we're going to cook sausage in the morning and serve it with the pancakes and eggs and what have you.
Okay, so you have to shut this down and clean it tonight, and then start frying sausage.
Right. We have to be ready to go to start serving the first meal at 6 o'clock in the morning.
6 o'clock, so people can come down then and eat?
That's correct.
And then you got some new lunches tomorrow,
well,
right?
You betcha. Lots of them.
Okay, now, in case you've been wondering what the meal looks like, there it is. There's your catfish dinner, and we've got people all lined up here. I hope they don't run out. And I got to do this. I hope I don't drop the fish. That's right. I always have to eat food on TV, right? It's hot, woo, but it's good. Paul Bauer special. I'm Kerry J. Hahn, the Iowa Traveler, live with a fish.
Oh.
It's delicious, isn't it?
It sure does. That's our news for now.
Thank you for helping us celebrate Iowa live from the Mennonite Relief Sale in Iowa City. Good night.